In the early hours of October 18, 2024, a small cargo plane approached an isolated runway just outside Anchorage, Alaska. The control tower watched it descend steadily, landing gear down, flaps deployed, perfect alignment. The touchdown was smooth, almost textbook. But as the aircraft rolled to a stop, there was silence. No communication. No movement. When ground staff approached, they expected to see the pilot preparing for unloading. Instead, they found the cockpit empty. No one inside. Not a single footprint in the snow outside the plane. The flight, identified as Arctic Air 207, had been tracked on radar for over 2 hours. It had taken off from Nome and flown a perfectly straight route toward Anchorage. Every system functioned normally. Except, there was no pilot on board. Investigators were stunned. The plane had taken off, maintained altitude, adjusted course for turbulence, and even landed, all without human input. No evidence of autopilot failure. No trace of remote control interference. It was, quite literally, a flight that landed itself. As authorities examined the black box, they found something more disturbing. At exactly 2:37 a.m., 30 minutes before landing, the cockpit microphone picked up faint breathing. A soft exhale. Then a voice whispering a single word, almost. That was the last sound recorded before total silence. The missing pilot, Daniel Harron, was an experienced airman with over 20 years of flight experience. Colleagues described him as calm, disciplined, and deeply passionate about flying. He had reported no distress before departure. Security cameras showed him walking toward the plane alone. But there's a 3-minute gap in footage between the time he entered the hangar and when the plane's engines powered up. Those missing 3 minutes have never been explained. When the plane was recovered, investigators noticed something strange inside the cockpit. On the co-pilot's seat, a pair of gloves, neatly folded. And on the window, a single handprint. But the handprint was inverted, as if someone had pressed it from the outside. For weeks, the story dominated headlines across Alaska. People called it the ghost plane. Some said Daniel had suffered a mental breakdown and jumped mid-flight. But the door wasn't opened. The pressure sensors proved it. Others believed the plane had been hijacked remotely, a test run for some classified technology. Yet the signal logs showed no interference. And then came a strange discovery. Radar data revealed that, for 7 minutes during the flight, Arctic Air 207 vanished completely. No transponder, no blip, no radar reflection, as if the aircraft had left the sky entirely. When it reappeared, it was descending perfectly toward Anchorage. No turbulence, no drift, no sign of trouble. The most chilling part? Locals living near the flight path claimed they heard something overhead that night, but not the usual drone of engines. They described it as a deep, humming tone. Almost like singing. One witness said it sounded alive. Months later, the FAA quietly closed the case, citing possible autopilot malfunction. But no one could explain the voice. No one could explain how the plane landed without visible damage. And no one could say where Daniel Harron went, or if he ever truly left that plane. A year later, another Arctic Air pilot reported something strange during a night flight over the same route. His onboard radio caught static for several seconds, then a whisper came through. Almost every mystery has an ending. But sometimes, the ending isn't meant for us. Sometimes, it keeps flying, somewhere between the sky and whatever waits above it. The story of the ghost plane of Alaska isn't about technology or tragedy. It's about the thin line between control and surrender, between the pilot and the unknown. Maybe Daniel Harron didn't disappear. Maybe he just kept flying.